Morning everyone, Jan Fursdon here from Fursdon House. Happy Saturday. I have one more Edith Holden journal. I kind of went crazy on this one. Of course, I'd probably go crazy on all of them, but this one, I'm hoping this is my last one for a little while. So unless I get a special order, I'm hoping to stop for a while because I'm getting a little burned out. Can't imagine why. But I had just completed a special order, and I created a lot of ephemera and various and sundry things, and as usual I went overboard, and so I had to use them up, and instead of making two small journals I thought I'll just make one very large one. So this is it, and I've tried out some new things, which I'll put links to the artists that inspired me. But this is it. She is 80 pages. She has 4 charms on the side. She has a ribbon closure, as you can see. She is, oh, and there's also a writing board in there, and I'll show you what that is, what I'm talking about when I say that. And she has 3 signatures. Her spine is 2 inches. There's the spine. You also have a little bookmark for yourself. It's a little key on the end of it, and that's what's holding the bookmark in place. And there's the front. The dimensions are 6 3/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches. You can see I've used some decorative stitches. I tried this out for the first time as well. You have to be careful with decorative stitches if you do it just on the page itself. And as a reminder, these are original pages from the Edith Holden's book, Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. They're all originals, no photocopies. But one thing you definitely want to remember, fortunately I tried it out on a piece of scrap paper, but when you're doing these decorative stitches you need a thickness. So what I did when I realized on regular paper it was just going to chew it up, I attached some cardstock behind the page, glued it down, and then stitched around the corners to come up with the decorative stitching. So something very important to remember. I put a few buttons here, but I basically wanted to leave the artwork alone just to let it stand for itself. And then that's just a little crocheted bit that I've used out of some other things. This is the reverse, and again more decorative stitching. It was fun. It takes about 4 times as long to stitch around a page. If you're doing decorative stitching, it's definitely a lengthy process. So I didn't do it on everything. I basically did the front and back, and then the inside front and back covers in the decorative stitches. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, good Lord have mercy, you're going to listen to my singing. That's scary. All right, here we go. First page, there is Miss Edith Holden herself. And I've just put information about the book that it comes from. It's her name, of course, and then the title of the book. She wrote this in 1906. She lived on Gowan Bank, and that's in Oulton, near Warwickshire. And I just found out that Jackie Chimes, the lady I bought my first journal from, she lives in Warwickshire herself, near Oulton. So I was just really tickled about that. So, hi, Jackie. We have family on my husband's side in England. I haven't been in ages, but that's one of the places that I would like to see when we go back next. Is where she lived and did her work, and also not Edith Holden, I'm talking about her, but also Beatrix Potter. Okay, so let me just stop chit-chatting and get along here. A pocket made from various bits of new and vintage lace, and like I said, it's just a pocket. That's, again, more of the decorative stitching here. This is Nature Notes for 1906. That's another book that she wrote. It's not as full of illustrations as the Country Diary is, and also it is typewritten as opposed to having her own handwriting. So it's still good, but my preference is the other one, this one, which is the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. This is just an introduction letter to whoever purchases the journal, and I got that idea from Jackie. She wrote me one, and I thought, what a wonderful idea. It was really neat. And then I've used, this idea is from Jeanette over at My Cottage Crafts. It's, instead of wax, which is very brittle, she used colored glue sticks. And I thought, wonderful, I can do this. So I did, and now of course I'm addicted to it. And that's a bee, one of my favorite symbols. And I just thought that was really neat. But yes, I needed something else to think about and do, and yeah, okay. What can I say? Also, in the interest of time, I'm not going to put things back into the journal. I'm just going to leave everything undone. So that'll help us out a little bit, because I don't want you to be bored to death. We have here a CD sleeve, which is a pocket. And then we have the, whoops, I'm going to have to redo that one, because that is not Edith Holden. Oh well, I'll redo that one. But it'll have the same cover. And it pops right down in there. And over here we have a journal card. Oh, and also throughout this one I've used only the Tim Holtz small paper clips. I love these little paper clips. Sometimes I use them intermixed with some others. But this one, for this journal, I wanted it to be especially nice, and I wanted it to be uniform, so I've used only those. And if I find any more in here while we're going through here, we'll just take them out while we're at it. So there is a journal card. And again, just leave it there. It's difficult for me to leave it there. I'm kind of anal retentive, and I want to fix things. Here we have another area to write on. You kind of tell I love bees. This is a flip over pocket. Let me just take these off and put them over there. You open it up here, and then I've just put in some paper here. A little bit of script from her book. They never want to go down when you're on camera, do they? But again, that just flips over the page like that. And then when you turn the page, you can actually use that as a tuck spot like this. I'm all fumble Finnegan here. So that's the second or third page. Nice little tuck spot. I try and use every piece that I can. I try never to waste any of her artwork that goes in there. It's so beautiful, and her books are still available, but they're getting pricier and pricier. So I use every little bit, and I'll show you just how little I can get with the pieces that I use from her. This is from a snippet roll that I got from my friend Annette. I'll put her link down there below in the comments. She has some beautiful fabrics, and I also get my paper from her as well. This is a large card. I like the large ones, I think. Of course, it's obviously more writing space, and those of you who know me know I love my writing space. So, just a little applique here. This was on the reverse of a page that I was using, and I had this much left, and thought, okay, we'll just cut around it and make it look good, and there it is. So again, I do like to use every bit. This is, now this one, yes, I colored that one myself with some colored pencils. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but that one I did, obviously. And it's with a little Velcro closure, and we have a little bit of paper here. Well, I'm trying to do this with one hand. I'm not sure why I'm trying to do it with one hand, but there it is. Beautiful birds. And it has obviously a little bit of crocheted lace and a vintage button there, an applique. Here we have one of my pressed flowers. This is the lavender, one of my favorite flowers. And there's journal space on the reverse. I just love lavender. I love the shape of it too. It's basically very photogenic. I'm thinking maybe one of these days I'll actually try and draw it. Who knows? And on the reverse of this, because it was held in place like so, is another large tag. So it would go here and be held in by the little paper clips. We have some charms, the sweetest little charms that I purchased from a lady, and I thought they'd be perfect for this book. They are animals and little things. This one, of course, is a little hummingbird. I'm not sure if you can see that really well. but it's a little hummingbird. And then I've done an accordion bit of ribbon there and crochet. I do not crochet. The two things that I've never been able to master, and that's crocheting and knitting. I can do all kinds of other intricate needlework, but not those two. My grandmother finally gave up. This is just a bit of kind of like a flip there, a piece of embroidery that was done by my great aunt and my grandmother. They both did this a lot, and they put it around on the edges of their pillowcases. And the pillowcases themselves were falling apart, but I was able to salvage a lot of the trim and the designs, so that was really neat. And here we have another. You can see how this holds this, and then there's something on the reverse that's typical of what I do. I try not to waste the idea that I've got a little paper clip. Might as well put it to use. This is a knockout rose from our garden here in Madison, Alabama. And again, more journal space there. And then we have a little card here, Yew Trees by William Wordsworth. And again, this was in her writing. This is why I particularly like it. She'll not only write about her own observations, but she puts in her favorite poems and what have you like that. Now, this will show you just how far I will go to save bits and pieces of the paper. You see these little decorative tabs that I've put at the center of the first signature. That's how small I save pieces. It's not crazy. It works well. At least it does for me. But any time that I cut something out, I'm looking at what the reverse is and what the best angle I can get it at, and so on and so forth. And because I hate wasting her art. This is just a blank page. Again, a little flip here. You can turn it over, and then it's a pocket. Just plain there. And some of the egg drawings. Another pocket here. Let's see, this one is just the one pocket, and it's just a little bit of journaling space, extra space. I try and always, if I take it away from something, I try and give it to you in another area. This came from an old placemat, and I had used part of it for something else. And there we go. Even little bits and pieces like that. I mean, they're so pretty. It's a shame not to use them. That's some of my favorite ribbon, the green leaf ribbon. I love it. And it goes well with Edith Holden artwork. Here we have just a little page that I've put on there strictly for the beauty of it. Little moss cups. Looks like something that grows on the bottom of the ocean. And you can see thrush nest, or I'm sorry, nest and eggs of a blackbird. Okay. And let's do it like that. And then this was just tucked under here. Again, just more journal space. Here we have a tag that is also a pocket. Carol Tinson taught me this. She's got a tutorial on it, and it's fantastic. I love tags, but sometimes they're just, it's like, yeah, it's okay. And I hate not using as much artwork as I can. And she came up with the perfect solution. You have writing space, and you have beautiful, and is it going back in? Of course not. There we go. You have beautiful scenery on both edges. And let's see, this is just a pretty page. I didn't want to waste it. Here we have a little tiny meadow scene with sheep, I think. This was funny. I had cut out one page and realized when I got to the back I had to cut off his legs and a little branch. And I was like, you know, I hated just to throw him away. You can't throw him away. But he's not flying, so I thought, well, he has to stand on something. So I just literally took a pen and a pencil and drew two little legs and a branch the way it was originally. Mine is nowhere near as beautiful as Edith Holden's, but you get the idea. I just couldn't let him go. And that just goes here in this pocket here. And of course you can always add your own stuff there as well. Here we have a page just for the beauty of it. And here we have, this is an envelope. Because it's also holding things on the back. So let me just kind of undo it a bit here. So we have this envelope and this little journal space, little tablet thing. Vintage lace across. No, I'm sorry, that's not vintage, that's new. Looks nice in vintage, I like that. And here we have the envelope, journal space here, a little double edge here, just to make it a little bit different. And again, that's from her book. And then also attached, it was like this, or it may have been like this, that's probably easier. These little hearts are inspired by G. Kerr. She lives in Portugal, and she has a YouTube channel that she has lots of yummy, easy to follow videos on creating ephemera. And I thought it was just as sweet as it can be. And there are 2 variations of this, and that was just from her book, The Notes. Here we have, oh, this is this is a new thing I did, and what it is, let me get this out of the way. I'm going to put it over here. This is the second signature, middle signature, and it is a folio. And Dawn at the Book Vandal shop was the one who inspired this. I fell in love with it. I copied it at least twice. It's wonderful, and I'll definitely put her link below so that you can find out how she does this. You can use them by themselves, or you can put them in journals, and that's what I did with this one. So you have basically 2 pages that open out like this, and that consists of my middle signature. And you have, these are just decorative pages here. And there's a little writing space in this one. Same with here, more writing space, and just another pretty page. And as you can see, the pages have been distressed with inks. And then also in this one, you close it up like so. Oh, pardon me, I forgot to show you there's the bookmark that will go anywhere in the book, of course. A little key there. And in the front of these, and in the reverse, is another page. Goes right down into here. And I've created a little, since there's not much writing space here, I've given you writing space here. And it's also on this side. And this is my next special thing I did. This was inspired by a lady. Her YouTube channel, I believe it's called I'm a Cool Mom. I'm pretty sure that's it. I'll make sure that's the right one. And I was just looking at her videos, and I saw that she'd done something similar. And I immediately thought of this this picture of a gate that I've had for years and years. I don't even know where I've got it now, and I just love it. And so what I did was I opened it up by just doing a slit here, down and across, here, down and across. I put my favorite green leaves, and I've kept them somewhat loose, so that my idea when I look at this is it sort of reminds me of a secret garden. So that was what that was. And then to find little handles, at first I was thinking, what in the world am I going to use? And a bead was too big and clunky. And then I came across these by Tim Holtz. They're the little doodads, for lack of another word, that you put on the spine of a book if you want to hang a tassel from. And they were perfect because they kind of lay flat. And you open it up, and there inside are some more of my pressed flowers. And those are just little wild flowers that I put in there, and I thought that was so neat. So I'll definitely put her link below, because that was just such a neat idea. So I was really thrilled with that. Okay, here we have another, this is a large pocket. You can also add your own things in here. In here, though, what I've added is a list that she created, wild birds found in the neighborhood of Oulton, Warwickshire. And as luck would have it, there's writing space there and on the reverse as well, that I didn't even have to create. She did it for me. Thank you. Here we see another of the little snippets that I've created with some vintage lace, some new lace, and a vintage button. And here's another one of those little charms. This one has a bee on it. I'm hoping you can see it. There we go. I don't want to get out of focus. I have a tendency to forget that I have to remember to stay in focus. What a concept. Here we have, and again, two pieces held together. This is Weeping Cherry from our Weeping Cherry trees here in Madison, Alabama. And again, more writing space there. It'll be spring soon, and what is it, March the 7th or the 6th? I think today's the 7th. So we'll have things, well, we've already got things in bud, so I'm going to be doing more pressed flowers again. Another little tag. Vintage lace, new lace, applique, little tiny flower or picture that we can't get rid of. The idea, though, with all these small bits and pieces, you've got to stay organized. I'm a neatnik, and like I said, slightly anal retentive. So I have to be organized and keep these up in small areas so that it doesn't overwhelm me. Because when you're saving a lot of these small things, they would drive you nuts if you didn't have them well corralled. Little doily there. I think those were coasters. And here we go. And here we have another journal card. Little tiny buttons. Aren't those the cutest little buttons? Another little flower there. 1906 was when she wrote the book, Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. Here we have a double pocket. You can see here, and I've left it blank so that you can add your own stuff in there. And then this one. It's made with snippets and vintage button. And again, G. Kerr was the one who told me about this. And this one's slightly different from the other one. It has the writing and everything that the other one had, but more space. The other one was just plain brown paper, I think. And this one, of course, is using the brown paper. You can use any color, but also having Edith Holden's writing and things on the back. And it just folds up. And her videos, her tutorials are so easily understood. So I highly encourage you to check those out. This came from a coaster. This was just a part of it. The poor thing was falling apart. And I thought, you know, they're so beautiful, even if they are falling apart. I thought, if I made a coaster like that, because these are handmade and hand-stitched, I thought, if I made something like that and someone dare put something on there, I would have a hissy fit. I would just curl up and, well, after I'd scream and carry on, then I'd curl up and croak. Anyway, you're finding out all kinds of interesting things about me. Let me put that in there so I don't forget it. Journal card. More bees. I love bees. And this, of course, was just held onto the back. And we have the butterflies. Here we have a pocket. Just some more writing space. A little bit of a snippet there. Some more of those little decorated tabs, whatever you want to call them. This is a double pocket. We have a little bit of writing area. And then, of course, it opens up. Velcro closure. And you have that there. Alright, go in there. And then we have, this piece is actually a fold-over piece, and it's just for pure beauty. It's actually, I put an old piece of linen, very old piece of linen, and I've also stained it as well. And it just literally goes over the page. Matter of fact, this is the picture that's on the front of the book that she did. Actually, I think the book was printed after she passed away, but they used this picture as the front cover, the frontispiece. Here we have, you see how we try and save little bits and pieces. Seed vessels of the cow parsnip and beaked parsley. Yeah, say that fast 3 times in a row. Here we have a page and more journal space. I love clover. This is the purple clover. We mostly have white in our yard, but nearby we have a field that has some purple in it, and I visit the field regularly. It's my duty to do that. Here we have cowslip and lady smock. I thought those were sweet. And again, this is a double tag, or a pocket tag. And you just have that. And again, that's by Carol Tinson. And then here we have a little booklet again. I've covered the top appropriately there. It's a bit of crochet, that was literally from, it was done by my grandmother or my great aunt. And it was from pillowcases that were just falling apart. And it's just some little additional journal spaces. And this pocket is made from one of her pages, and then some lace and what have you. Here we have another one of the little charms, and there's a little tiny turtle. And then some accordion ribbon that I did. I'm running out of that. I need to make some more. Let's see, what's this holding? A tag. And then we have another journal card. And here we have a large tag. I definitely prefer the larger tags, I do believe. I just like the look of them. And then here we have another pocket. Now this, it's actually a double pocket, or this is like a tuck spot. And then inside here is the pocket. That's honeysuckle, one of my favorite flowers. I love the smell of honeysuckle. And this is another little heart. And again, I've just used the plain brown paper with this. Just put Edith Holden's name on it. So sweet. G can come up with some amazing things to do with paper. There we go. And this one is a pocket, additional journal space. And the last of the little beads, and it's a butterfly. And just, again, this is made from her page. I've had to reinforce it with cardstock on the reverse, otherwise it wouldn't be strong enough. And using some new lace and some vintage crochet lace and what have you. And here we have a book, The Chaffinch Nest, Wild Hyacinths and Hawthorn Blossoms. And again, it's just journal space there. Here is the writing board that I was telling you about. I got this idea from Jeanette at My Cottage Crafts, and it's really nice because if you have something you're wanting to write on a paper and you've got things underneath it, this you just slide in behind and you've got something solid and firm. It's very, very firm. There's that. And then, of course, this is the last page. And again, you can see the decorative stitching. I think that's called, if I'm not mistaken, it's called turkey tracks. It's an embroidery stitch, actually, that you can do by hand. I've done it before, and I guess it looks like turkey tracks. I've never seen a wild turkey. Love the dragonfly. So, that is the end. I'm not even going to attempt to close it up because I've got to go in and put everything back in place. Thank you very much for your time and your patience. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. I hope you enjoy this and enjoy this lovely Saturday. Greetings from Madison, Alabama. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a blessed week. Take care. Bye-bye.